As I say, nominations open today. We go through a lengthy process and we get the result of this election on Saturday, the 4th of April. That means most of January, the whole of February, the whole of March and much of the first week of April. And I mused on Sunday, would people actually maintain interest in this? And yet, this is wall-to-wall on cable TV, on radio debate, in the newspapers. Yeah, I know Iran is the international issue, but the domestic issue is, at the moment, Labour. Now, I've said in the past that many of these people who appear on big political programmes, your average member of the public would not pick out of a lineup. And, of course, that's just sort of normal Nigel being rude about everybody, because he always is. Well, I was fascinated this morning to look at the Daily Telegraph, because they had done a piece of research about these Labour candidates, including Rebecca Long-Bailey, because they'd assumed that she would run. So just before we came on air, I spoke to Camilla Tominey, the associate editor of the Daily Telegraph. She conducted this poll with Delta Poll, and I asked her, why does no one recognise any of these leadership hopefuls?
Delta Poll asked members of the public, I think between Christmas Eve and January the 2nd, whether they recognised a list of the Labour leadership contenders. And they even included photographs of the likes of Rebecca Long-Bailey,
it's the lineup, you see.
Starmer, Emily Thornberry. To be fair, these are all names that would be familiar to LBC listeners, but not, it seems, the wider general public, because none of the candidates polled higher than 29% recognition. And that's even among Labour voters.
Unbelievable.
So a figure like Clive Lewis, who is one of the candidates, was only recognised by 8% of the public.
Wow. So this gives Labour a massive problem, because their election period goes on until the first week of April. Is there not a danger for Labour that the public just get bored to death with all of this?
Well, I think also Labour are suffering from the fact that the public is already completely election weary. We've had enough of elections. I mean, we've had enough of elections, frankly, before December the 12th, but obviously that was the most definitive one of the last 3 years. And I think there's this sense that, A, no one cares all that much, but B, the candidates aren't exciting anyone particularly.
Absolutely.
And let's be honest, there aren't really any big personalities of the likes of, say, the Blair era. I'm thinking about people like John Prescott or David Blunkett. There's probably a higher recognition factor for somebody like Alan Johnson starring in that ITV reality show at the weekend where he dressed up as an Egyptian and was revealed to be a secret singer than there is in the likes of Lisa Nandy, who it seems most people have never even heard of.
And tell me, as a seasoned observer of this, do you think any one of these six could break out in the next 3 months and become that big personality?
Well, I think the biggest personality of all is probably Jess Phillips.
So do I.
And I think she has got the most chance of appealing to those voters that Labour desperately needs to appeal to in the Midlands and the North. Having said that, she hasn't had the best start, because having suggested on the Andrew Marr show that she would try and campaign to rejoin the EU, she then had to backtrack when she gave a subsequent op-ed to The Independent on Monday, saying actually that wasn't the plan. So she needs to get her story straight. But I would suggest that she might be the candidate the Tories would be most worried about Boris Johnson facing at the other side of the dispatch box.
So there we are. No one knows who these people are. If only a third of Labour voters can even recognise these people with a photograph, what does that tell you? It tells you, firstly, that people are tired of politics. And is that a surprise? In the last 5 years, we have had 3 general elections and a national referendum. And if you're in Scotland, it's 5 in the last 6 years. That's one thing, weariness with politics. And secondly, it is a complete lack of presence, personality, history. No one knows who these people are. I mean, I grew up, with figures like Dennis Healey, with the big eyebrows. But hey, the guy was a massive intellect, a giant of politics. You think through to the Blair era. I mean, Blair himself, whether you agree with Blair or not, I mean, my goodness me, what an amazing speaker, political performer. People like David Blunkett had overcome that cruel disability and risen to one of the top ranks in the land. Johnny Prescott lamping the bloke who threw an egg at him. I mean, you think about it, these were big characters and big personalities. And I absolutely agree with Camilla Tominey of the Daily Telegraph that these are not big personalities. Even the one of the six who's got the best CV, Sir Keir Starmer, because he was the boss, he was in charge, Director of Public Prosecutions, but actually, he may look the part, but a bit more like a wooden top, it seems to me, when he's being interviewed. I agree, the only one of them with any personality is Jess Phillips, and yet she has got no experience of shadowed cabinet. And I just wonder, I'm going to ask you, do you even care